Okay, nobody could have convinced me that I would be standing here even a week ago. I never imagined that I would be this deeply involved in the campaign, and this just happened in the last week. I ran away from politics all of my life. Yes, I'm a social justice activist, I'm a feminist, I am a digital media strategist, and I use social media as a tool for change. So it is political, but I was angry with my father for most of my adolescent life. I might say some things that he's not so happy about tonight, but I decided I'm just going to speak from the heart. I remember being really angry because I felt he made so many sacrifices. Family sacrifices, sports days, plays, family vacations, special moments in my life growing up. And I felt that he sacrificed too much for Kenya. I was angry with Kenya too, for taking so many years of his life. And it wasn't until I was an adult that I really started to understand, when I was now pursuing my own life purpose for global transformation and upliftment of humanity and women's rights. And I mean, in many ways, I'm cut from the very same cloth that my father is, the same cloth that my grandmother wove. And it was then that I started to realize that his commitment to the country was a demonstration of his love for me also, his love for the family, his love for our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. It was about creating a Kenya that we can all enjoy. My grandmother is the matriarch of the Nyongo family, and she is the most hardworking woman I know. Now, she hasn't spoken for months after she suffered from a stroke, but I still think that she is the most hardworking and strongest woman I know. I feel that her spirit is still strong, and that even though her body is weak, her work is not done yet. 97 years old, and her spirit is still strong. She was a trader at a time when no other women were traders, and it is her trade that educated all her children, the boys and the girls equally. And when my father was leaving for college, there's an old picture where she was handing a bag over to him, and it was a bag with money to set him off. During the harvest season, when there was food, she would buy grain from others and then dry and store it, so that when the harvests were low, people from other villages would come and buy from her. So when people say that Luos are not entrepreneurs and business savvy, they should talk to my grandmother. She was a strategic planner and a visionary. And she didn't stop working until very recently. And like I said, I believe that she is still working. And I think that at a spiritual level, she's still waiting for something. And maybe it's just to see my father become the next governor of Kisumu, so that the work that she began, all of the decades of hard work, not just for our family, but for hundreds and thousands of others who she has mentored and educated and inspired on so many levels, is not gone to waste. She has seen so much decay and retardation in her life. It cannot make sense to her at all. We should be progressing and not going backwards. And I feel that she wants to know that her people will be taken care of. So we're here tonight for one reason only. We believe in the candidate, and we want to do whatever it takes to get him in. For me, it's selfish. Honestly, I want my father to retire from politics. I hope that after this, he will be done. It's enough. You have put in too many years. We've seen the impact it's had on him. It is stressful. But we also see that he is not done yet, and his fight for the people is not over yet. The work has to be done, and he's doing it. And he asked me months ago to get involved, to support the social media strategy. And I was hesitant. Yes, I know I have the skills, but like millions of Kenyans, I am traumatized. I am traumatized from many elections that have gone wrong. And even more so because it is so close to home for us. I remember my first trauma. I was a toddler, and we lived in Woodley Estate. And my father had been missing for several days and came home, and he had been arrested and beaten for his multi-party democracy activism. He had been shaved so that he could get stitches on his wounds. My father without hair. Can you imagine Anyang Nyong'o without hair? I didn't recognize him, and I was upset. I knew something was horribly wrong. And I was scared, and I cried. But the time that I will never forget is the time that I cried for Kenya. My heart bled for Kenya. When post-election violence broke out, that was a pain that I never imagined possible to feel. I had never felt so powerless, confused, and desperate. And seeing what was happening across the country nearly destroyed me. And what happened in Kisumu was beyond words. It took me into a deep, deep depression, one that in many ways I am still healing from. And I can't imagine what that is for the other Kenyans who do not even have half of the privilege that I do. What about the millions of Kenyans who were traumatized? Who is healing their wounds? Who is ensuring that we approach the next election in a different way? We can't afford to just go from trauma to trauma. This conversation is not just about Kisumu. The issues are real. And in Kisumu, the level of disempowerment is real. The youth are some of the most disheartened, disempowered, and disenfranchised in the country. Young people with master's degrees are turning to crime because they have no jobs and no sense of hope. I could go on and on. The point is this: the work needs to be done, and we cannot wait any longer. Across the nation, we have to shift mindsets and change the way we elect our leaders. Campaigns, yes, they cost money, and that's why we're here today. Anyang Nyong'o is said to be stingy, mean, and unreasonable. That is the propaganda on the ground. He won't budge on his integrity. Isn't that the kind of leader that we need? We have a choice today to approach this election differently, as individuals and as a collective, to say yes to all Kenyans and what is good for us as a nation. It will take a lot, but you being here tonight is a critical step. You can use your voice and your platforms wherever you are, whether it's WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, your chama, your church, your kinyozi, the salon, your private club, wherever you are, engage in and support conversations that matter. Silence is not an option. Thank you so much for being here tonight and honoring this invitation. Please don't let it end here tonight. We need to walk together till the end. Teach Tire, the work is being done. Nyongo is ready to work with you.